every site that we create within SharePoint, it has its own layout, its own design, it has a unique URL, it has its own navigation and its own permissions. But sometimes we might need to navigate from one site to another, maybe to check news on that particular site or to check documents or for any other reason. Now, if you want to navigate from one site to another site, this will take a few clicks. We can create navigation links on each site so that we can navigate from one site to another. But imagine you have hundreds and thousands of sites in your organization. So creating the navigation links on each SharePoint site becomes a difficult task and it will be impractical to maintain. So this is where a hub site comes in the picture. When we register a site as a hub site, it ties all the other sites together via a common navigation. All the other sites, those are connected to a hub site, are called associated sites. All the associated sites will have a common hub navigation. All the sites will share a common branding and a common theme. Also, when the sites are associated with a hub site, you can perform search on all the sites. We will discuss all these features practically as well, and things will be more clear. So the concept behind a hub site is to maintain the site navigation on the parent site, which is the hub site, and all the other sites, those are associated sites, will inherit that navigation from the hub site. Now the question arises, why do we need a hub site? A hub site is useful when you have different departments in your organization and you want to link all those departments with a common site. Or instead of multiple clicks, you can navigate to the other sites in a single click. All the associated sites will have a common branding and theme. They will have a common navigation, and you can search for the documents or any other content in all the sites from a single place. So let's move to SharePoint Online and let's see how to manage hub sites. You should always use a communication site to use as a hub site because a hub site should be accessible by all the users. If you do not have a communication site in your tenant, you can go to SharePoint Online and click Create Site, select Communication Site, and follow the instructions to create a new communication site. I already have a communication site with name concept.com, and I will be using this particular communication site as a hub site. And I have other sites as well with name network, server, and database. All these sites are separate sites. They have their own navigation, they have their own layout, theme, and they have their own permissions as well. So my end goal is I want to connect all these three sites with this concept.com site so that all these sites will use common navigation, common search scope, and common branding and common theme. Now to register a site as a hub site, we need to go to SharePoint Online Admin Center. You cannot register a hub site from the SharePoint site. Only a SharePoint admin or a global administrator can register a site as a hub site. So let's go to Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And from here, we will go to SharePoint. On SharePoint Admin Center, you will go to Active Sites, and here you will find the site that you want to use as a hub site. So in my scenario, I'll use this site, concept.com, and if we scroll it towards right, we can see this is a communication site. So to register a site as a hub site, select the site and at the top, click Hub. And here you will click register as hub site. Under hub name, you can type the name for the hub site. For example, my hub. Changing the name of the hub site doesn't change the name of the actual site. This is just a hub name that we are going to change. And you can create up to 2000 hubs in SharePoint Online. Under people who can associate sites with this hub, you can specify the users who can associate these sites with this particular hub site. If you have multiple sites in your organization, you do not want to allow all the users to associate their sites with this hub site. So you can add the users here to whom you want to allow to associate or to connect their sites to this hub site. So let me add a couple of users here and click Save. And let's close this window. Let's go back to communication site and let me refresh this page. So now at the top, you can see this hub navigation on this communication site. This navigation indicates that this particular site is a hub site. The top navigation that you see here, this will appear on every single site that will be associated with this hub site. Now let me change the theme of this site as well. Let's go to settings and go to change the look and go to theme and let's select this one and click save. Also, let me change the header as well. Let me select this one. This is good. So let's click save. So we have changed the theme of this hub site. Now, if we will associate any site with this hub site, all these sites will inherit this particular theme. Now, the second step is to associate these sites with this hub site. There are two ways you can associate a site with hub site. You can do it from the site itself, or you can go to SharePoint Admin Center. Let me show you both ways. Let's go back to SharePoint Admin Center. On SharePoint Admin Center, you will go to Active Sites, and here look for the site that you want to connect with the hub site, or you want to associate the site with the hub site. So first I'll associate database site. So I'll select the site, click hub and click associate with a hub. And under select a hub, you will select the hub name that we have created or with which we want to connect this particular site. So I'll select this one, my hub, and click save. And as we discussed earlier, you can create up to 2000 hub names in SharePoint Online. So let's close this window and let's go back to database site. So as of now, you can see this navigation at the top or this theme in blue color. But as soon as I'll click refresh, this will change. So let's click refresh. And now you can see, we can see the hub navigation at the top and we can see the theme is also changed. This theme is inherited from the hub site. And at the top, we can see our hub name. And if I click on this hub name, we will be redirected to the hub site, which is our ConceptCom communication site. Now let me show you how to associate a site from the site itself. This time, we will associate this site with name network. So let's go to settings. And before you associate a site with a hub site, you need to be the owner of that particular site. So within settings, you will go to site information and under hub site association, you will select the hub name with which you want to associate this particular site. So select the hub name and click save. And we have the same navigation and the same theme in this site as well. Now let's go to other site. We have this communication site with name server, and we will be associate this site as well with our hub site. So let's go to settings and go to site information. Under hub site association, select the hub name and click save. And you can see this site has inherited the theme, the hub navigation, and we can see the hub name as well. If you want to navigate to our hub site, we can click on this hub name and we'll be redirected to our hub site. So now we have three SharePoint sites associated with this hub site. On every site, we can see the hub navigation and we can see the same theme. Now the next step that we need to follow is we need to create site links on this hub navigation. When you associate sites with a hub site, the links for those sites are not added to the hub site automatically. If I want to navigate from another site to a hub site, I can simply click on my hub. But if I want to navigate back to the site from the hub site, there is no as such link on the hub site. So we need to create these links manually. So to create the navigation links, we will go to the hub site. We are already on the hub site, but if you are not sure, you can click on your hub name and you will be redirected to the hub site. So to create the link, you will click add link on the navigation menu, and here you will select link, and under address, you will type the URL of your site like this and give it a name. So this is our network site, and click OK and click save. So now we have this link. If we click on network, we are redirected to the network site. And if I want to go back to the hub site, I can click my hub. So now we need to create two more links for the other two sites. So again, we will click edit, move your mouse here and click plus, and here we will type the other site link. So this is our server site, and let's create one more, and this will be our database site, and click OK, click save. So now we have three links for network, server, and database. If we click server, we are redirected to this server site. We can click network, we can redirect to network. And if we click on database, we are on the database site. So this is how you can create links within the navigation menu on hub navigation. Now, when you associate multiple sites with the hub site, you might run out of the space in the navigation bar. So you can create a mega menu. Let me show you how to do it. Go to hub site. We are already on the hub site. So click edit and click plus icon. And here you will select label and give it a name. For example, IT departments, and click OK. And we will move this label to the top, and next to each site link we will click make sublink. So we will do this for all the sites and click save. So now here you can see we have a mega menu. Instead of having multiple links on the navigation, on the hub navigation, we can create one mega menu or the label, and under that label, we can create multiple navigations. Now, if we go to any site like server site, or we click database, if we go to any other site, at the top, we can see search this site. If I go to another site, for example, server, it says search this site. If I go to network, it says same thing, search this site. That means we can search anything within this particular site. However, if you go to hub site, it says search across sites. That means from the hub site, we can search all the associated sites along with the hub site. You can search for the documents list on all these four sites from one single location. And if you go to another site, let me refresh this page. If you go to any other site, for example, server, and go to settings, change the look, click theme. So it says your site is connected to the My Hub site and is set to automatically adopt the same theme. So that means the theme of this site is being inherited from the hub site. So now we know what happens when we create a hub site and when we associate a site with the hub site. The hub navigation is inherited by all the associated sites. Every associated site will have same navigation and they will have same theme and a common search scope. You can search for the content across the sites. Now let's talk about the hub site permissions. When you create a hub site or when you associate a site with the hub site, this doesn't change the security levels of the sites. When you associate sites with a hub site, this doesn't give access to the users to all the sites those are connected to the hub site. Only the users who have a permission on the site can access the sites. For example, here I have three sites. In network site, which is a team site, I have a user, Bob Ross, who has member permission. And if we go to server site, which is a communication site, he do not have any permission on this particular communication site. And if you go to database, Bob Ross doesn't has any permission on database site as well. Now let me log in with Bob Ross account and let me show you how this will work. And let me copy the link of the hub site. So Bob Ross is a part of this hub site. He has member permission on the hub site. So he should be able to access the hub site and he can access it. However, let's click network and let's open server and let's open database. So let's go to network. Bob Ross has member permission on network site. He can access it, but he doesn't has any permission on server side and on database side. So it says you need permission to access this site. So that means if a user doesn't has required permission on a particular site, he won't be able to access that site within a hub. But there is a way in SharePoint Online to sync the permissions across all the sites. To do this, you will go to the hub site and within hub site, go to settings, site permissions. Under permissions, you will click hub tab and here you see one option that says sync hub permissions to associated sites. Sync hub permissions to associated sites to ensure users can access all the sites in the hub if the site owner allows. So let's turn on this option, and as soon as you will turn on this option to sync hub permissions, you will get one more group with name hub visitors. We can add up to 10 groups here. For example, if I want everyone in this permission, so I will type everyone except external users. So now all the users of my tenant, that means internal users of my organization, have read-only permission on this hub site. But the external users who are added as a guest or B2B collaboration users will not be able to access this hub site. And if we click this site and go to advanced permission settings, here we can see 4 site groups. By default, we have 3 groups: site member, site owners, and site visitors. But as soon as you will turn on sync hub permissions, you will get one more group with name hub visitors. And if we click this group, we can see everyone is added within this group except external users. Now, when you sync hub permissions from the hub site, you need to sync these permissions on the other sites as well. The sites, those are connected with the hub site. So let's go to other sites. Let me open all the other sites. Let's close this one. So let's go to network, and once it will open, go to settings, go to site permissions, click hub and turn on this setting. So it says network is inheriting permission from my hub, which is our hub site. So same way, we will do this on other sites as well. Turn it on and we can see same permission here. And we will do same thing on the third site as well. So this is already done. We have network and we have server and we have database. Now let's understand how we can control who can associate a site with the hub site. By default, any site owner can associate his site with the hub site. But if you want to allow only particular users who can associate their sites to the hub site, there are 2 ways to achieve this. The first way is you will go to SharePoint Online Admin Center. Under Active Sites, select your hub site and click Hub and click Edit Hub Site Settings. And here you will see a setting, people who can associate sites with this hub. I have already added concepts user, who is the admin account, and we have one account Bob Ross. So only these 2 users can associate their sites to this hub site. If you have multiple hub sites, you need to make the same changes in those sites as well. And the other way to restrict users from associating their sites to the hub site is to create an approval workflow. Like if someone wants to associate this site with the hub site, he will send an approval to me along with the justification, and I can either approve the request or I can reject it. So let me show you how to do it. So for that, we will go to hub site. On the hub site, go to settings and here click hub site settings. And here you need to turn this option to on that says require approval for associated sites to join. So let's turn it on and under create a flow to require approval, click create. And you will see the entire workflow is created automatically. You do not have to create this flow manually. Everything is just automated. If you see sign in option next to SharePoint or approvals or notifications, click on sign in and log in with SharePoint administrator or the global administrator and click continue. And under approvers, you can add the admin's accounts who can approve the request. For example, I'll add my account and click create. And here you can see the flow is created, request to join a SharePoint hub site. If we click on this link, we will be redirected to Power Automate. And here you can see the complete flow. If you click edit, You can see all the components of this particular flow.